ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतिरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 1, verse 23. Just recapping. So, Ajamila's life is being described. So, he got attracted to this prostitute, got her home, and then he engaged in all kinds of sinful activities to maintain her and his big family. So he spent his time in abominable sinful activities to maintain his family of many sons. And 88 years of his life passed by. The old man Ajamila had 10 sons, of whom the youngest was a baby. Was a baby. Balaha. Child, don't know what age it was. The baby named Narayana. Since Narayana was the youngest of all sons, he was naturally very dear to his father and his mother. The word Pravayasaha indicates Ajamila's sinfulness because although he was 88 years old, he had a very young child. So still lusty. According to Vedic culture, one should leave home as soon as he has reached 50 years of age. One should not leave at home and go on producing children. One should not be at home and go on producing children. Sex life is allowed for 25 years. Please note, between the ages of 25 and 45 or at the most 50. Actually, not even, yeah. This is just for those who cannot really control. After that, one should give up. One should give up the habit of sex life and leave home as a vanaprastha and then properly take sannyas. Ajamila, however, because of his association with a prostitute, lost all Brahminical culture and became most sinful, even in his so-called household life. So we can copy paste this, capture this statement. If anybody is struggling with this, one should leave home as soon as he is reached. Okay, we don't have to leave home. We should engage full-time in full-time service. Sex life is allowed for 25 years between the ages of 25 and 45. And earlier the better. The earlier it comes to an end, it's better. So Ajamila was pretty sinful. You know, Prabhupada is not just saying lusty. He's saying he's sinful because he had a very young child at this age. So literally, it's not even just. It's almost wrong. It's wrong to engage like this, live like this. Because of the child's broken language and awkward movements, old Ajamila was very much attached to him. He always took care of the child and enjoyed the child's activities. Now this happens. This is experienced by everybody. Even I've seen like devotees also getting too much carried away by. I see sometimes, our Guru Bhakta Prabhu's son, Narayana, he comes and he's like, thinks he's in a garden and he's walking around here and there, class is going on, and everybody's attention is towards him. And of course, he's a devotee, is attractive to look at. It's the attraction of the devotee in him that is attracting everybody, but still, generally, people are used to just, getting carried away by when they look at small children, beautiful children, or even in Arun Prabhu's daughters, especially the younger one. So like this, generally people get carried away. So they want to look at children and you know yeah enjoy their activities. Um, yeah, Jamila was also very attached. Here it is clearly mentioned that the child Narayana was so young that he could not even speak or walk properly. Since the old man was very attached to the child, very attached to the child, he enjoyed the child's activities. And because the child's name was Narayana, the old name always chanted the holy name of Narayana. Although he was referring to the small child and not to the original Narayana. The name of Narayana is so powerful that even by chanting his son's name, he was becoming purified. Harer Nama, Harer Nama Eva Kevalam. Srila Rupa Goswami has therefore declared that if one's mind is somehow or other attracted by the holy name of Krishna, tasmat kenapi upayena manak krishne niveshayet. Kenapi upayena, somehow or the other, by some means, manak krishne niveshayet. Invest the mind in Krishna. Let the mind reside in Krishna. So Prabhupada is quoting this and saying, okay, someone should be somehow or the other attracted by the holy name of Krishna. One is on the path of liberation. It is customary in Hindu society for parents to give their children names like Krishna Dasa, Govinda Dasa, Narayana Dasa, Vrindavana Dasa. Actually, yeah, they don't give Krishna Dasa, they will just say Krishna. But actually, we should call them Krishna Dasa. Thus, they chant the names Krishna, Govinda, Narayana, Vrindavana, and get the chance to be purified. And so the tattva is now starting. So this old man was very much attached to the child. He enjoyed the child's activities. And because the child's name was Narayana, he was constantly chanting his son's name and he was becoming purified. And Ajamila chewed food and ate it. He called the child to chew and eat, like say, Kana cow, eat. And when he drank, he called the child to drink also. Always engaged in taking care of the child and calling his name Narayana. Most important thing. Not taking care of the child. Most important thing is calling his name Narayana. Ajamila could not understand that his own time was now exhausted and that death was upon him. Agatam, Agatam Antakam. Death had come. So he could not understand that because he was too attached. So old age is very, very difficult. So if we practice from now, then we can remain fixed in that practice at old age. But otherwise, if we remain attached now, we will continue to remain attached then. Nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change. In fact, it's going to get worse. So when we have the intelligence to understand these things, saying that, okay, I should not get too attached because like I've been saying, when we become old, we become both physically weak, mentally weak. So all logic, all clear clarity of philosophy, everything should be got at an earlier age, whatever that is. So yeah, he could not understand, just engaged, always just thinking. I mean, I see mother, even though she's chanting Hare Krishna, she's hearing, she's reading, she's doing all that. She's still so attached. I'm just praying for her. All of you also pray for her so that she becomes more Krishna conscious. Because she's just worried about what people have eaten, kitchen, grandchildren. While everything is fine, literally. From her perspective, all grandchildren are doing well, all children are being taken care of, etc. But still, she is just attached. She cannot discuss anything else except this topic. It's very scary, actually. But somehow I have faith that Krishna will do some magic with her. But for us, the learning is that we should not, we should understand and we should just give up this attachment. It's not going to help us. When Antakam Agatam, when death arrives, it's not going to help us. And of course, we've been talking about this topic again. The questions that will come. We should have attachment to our children only on the spiritual platform. Meaning, we have to see that Krishna has sent us these children, children, whatever, right? So that I can give them Krishna consciousness. Of course, it's not that we will become stones. We will show them love and affection, but that love and affection should be on the spiritual platform. Okay, can somebody explain how do you show love and affection on the spiritual platform to children? Anybody wants to try?
By engaging them, Prabhu. I mean, in the sense, take them along to the temples. I mean, give them association, encourage them to chant,
Yeah, okay.
encourage them to read Prabhupada's books.
Okay, small children, what do we do? As they grow up, yeah, we can do all this. Give them Krishna consciousness, give them, yeah, ask them to read Prabhupada's books.
Like, telling them different pastimes, Prabhu, stories,
Okay, pastimes. Okay, then,
and like maybe kirtans, because I'm sure
okay,
these kids are all excited about kirtan and then stories.
okay. What else? You're missing the important part, the most important part.
Thinking them to be another Vaishnava and then serving them.
Okay, but how? I'm asking, how do we serve them?
Um, Giving them Krishna Prasadam, talking to
Okay,
them regarding Krishna,
okay.
telling them that uh, this we are servants of Krishna and we are here to serve and we have to go back to Godhead in this lifetime.
No, but what is more important? What we say or what we do?
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, by our behavior, like
Yes,
how we
yes,
conduct ourselves and how much, if we are not chanting, sitting
yeah,
in one place attentively, then we can't expect them to
absolutely.
do.
Perfect. Right. So this mood starts with our behavior, right? If we are not doing something, we can't tell the child, and the children are too smart, right? If you are telling the children saying that we have to get up early, then they look at us and say you're not getting up early. If you tell the children saying that you have to read every day and we are not reading, and say you're not reading. We tell the children saying that you should be well behaved and we are not well behaved. So we cannot teach them Krishna consciousness unless we are ourselves Krishna conscious. Of course, the rest of the things, whatever, everything else that you all said is absolutely perfect, right? So we also give them love and affection, but that love and affection should be to help them understand that this is the love. For example, I know some children are cranky to come to Krishna conscious programs, and children will just, parents will just say, okay, take it, it's fine. It's fine. We don't go. We won't go this Sunday. Don't do that. Don't do that. Make it a habit to make sure that you bring children and yourself also to satsangs at least once a week. Apart from engaging them at home, give them association of other children, give them association of devotees, give them make them understand, let them understand that okay, this is the way of my life. The way of my life is temple, devotees, kirtan, Hare Krishna. Not that we come to center and then outside we are lavish, we go on holidays, we spend a lot of money, and I mean, children will not understand. They'll get confused. It's like this American, Indian children born in America, you know, like that. Of course, now I don't know how much it is, but previously at least children used to be super confused. We should not create that kind of a situation was for our children, right? So give them Krishna consciousness, you be Krishna consciousness, live a life of Krishna consciousness. Only then it's possible. And yes, so for example, child is not eating. Yeah, some mother ideally should have the time to sit with the child, tell some story, coax the child to eat prasadam, And that's how it works. That's how it's supposed to be. It's not that from small, young age we are like, military disciplining our children. No, not from such young age. Like up to 5, 6 years, they're all like, give them love, give them training, give them understanding. Then as they start growing up more, then little bit rules will come into picture. Right? That too, it's between 5 to 10, 11 years. That's all. After that, friends. Maximum, 12, 13. Teen means friends. That's all. You have to treat them like friends. Right? So we have to learn this. We have to learn this. And what about those who have already, many of us have children who are grown up and may not be fully Krishna conscious, may not be Krishna conscious at all. And then we have to pray for them. We have to somehow, at least we have to give them Krishna Prasadam. They might have all kinds of, very weird culture that they are following, going out for parties, this, that, and all that. But at least at home, give them Krishna Prasadam. Give them the culture of at least, let them at least come to, at least come visit the temple, if not sit for a class or something, at least, in traditional clothes. This is a very general thing, right? Traditional clothes once in a while, like at least once in 15 days to start with. Just take them to a Krishna temple and, let the Lord see them. Let them take darshan, then some prasadam. And every day, ensure that you give them prasadam at home. Even if they are cranky, don't give them anything else. From child, when they are children, you have to train. And for all this, it requires time and patience. And especially, we should not be shouting at our children, especially when they are in this tender age, like up to 7, 8, and all that. We should not be shouting at them, beating them, but we should be strict. Like I said, up to 5, no strictness. After 5, 6, strictness is required. And this is also another thing, since I'm anyway talking about this topic. Mother is strict, father is lenient. No, this is not good. Mother should not be overly strict such that she's scaring children away and that children don't want to come to mother. That also is not correct. It should be like how Prabhupada used to be with his disciples, right? Strict for one point of time, super strict, right? And next moment, all gone, normal. Because that actually is our intent to actually give them the proper way of life, right? Not just becoming angry. That becoming angry is helplessness. We should not become angry and frustrated. That is a sign of helplessness. Why helpless? Krishna has given us intelligence. Krishna has given the authority. Krishna has given the responsibility. So let's figure out and let's pray. Krishna is in control. So just because we are telling something, children are not following, we should not get frustrated. At the same time, if mothers or fathers, it depends on who is playing that role of disciplining, is doing, the other person should not interfere. So these are all very golden rules of parenting. But don't get attached to them materially. So for example, if child falls sick, or if they have some serious problem as they grow up, they'll have some issues. Don't get too worked up. Don't get bogged down, right? Because children will look up to you. And if we are only not Krishna conscious, if we are not helping them understand the problem situation and then giving them understanding, yes, okay, this is all karma phala. It comes because we have not been responsible in our previous life. So now we should be responsible. And what is that responsible life? Life of Krishna consciousness. Right? So these things have to be taught. Otherwise, we become attached like Ajamila. We become attached materially. Of course, he was so fortunate. He named his son Narayan. That also you can do. Even if you have named your child something else, you can change it at least at home. Call the child by some Krishna conscious name. Yeah, Ankita.
So, Prabhu, I have a small doubt. So regarding this name, in seventh canto, there's a discussion between Narada Muni and Yudhishthir Maharaj that despite of being so envious, why did Shishupala, when he was killed by Krishna, he merged into the Lord. Then Narada said explained him, saying that this four they were cursed by Brahma Kumaras, and later again he explained that even though people by enviously remember if they enviously remember the Lord in their lifetime, in their full lifetime, they are going back to God. And is it true? I mean, that's true, definitely. Narada, as Narada Muni told, but will they again come back, Prabhu? That is not into Goloka, right? It is like this Brahma Jyoti. They'll go to this Brahma Jyoti and stay there. Will they come back again, Prabhu, in future?
So the glories of the name we will discuss. There are next chapter. There will be a lot more discussion on the glories of name. So you can bring this up then. Right now, I'm just focusing on certain specific areas. So we can discuss this. Actually, this chapter, next chapter will be discussion about the glories of holy name, and all these things will come up. Right. So in this case also, for example, to briefly tell you, this was at least Ajamila had no, he was not even intentionally calling. He called Narayana at the end of his life almost unconsciously. He called his own child, right? But there is some, Prabhupada in one purport says, there is a feeling to the calling. There is some associated emotion. So we'll talk about that later. So I'm just reading this purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is kind to the conditioned soul. Although this man completely forgot Narayana, actually he forgot Narayana. Though in his childhood he was serving Narayana indirectly. Though he had forgotten, see, just imagine, he is named, he was calling his child Narayana, but he is completely forgotten. He is not remembering Narayana, just calling his son Narayana. Please come eat this food, which means that it is indifferent. Like no feeling, no attachment, anything at this point of time. He's just calling Narayana, without even thinking that Narayana, oh, I'm calling the name of the Supreme Lord. Narayana, please come eat this food. Narayana, please come drink this milk. Narayana, sit here. Narayana, go there. This is what was going on. Somehow or other, he was attached to the name Narayana. Actually, he was attached to the name Narayana because his son was named Narayana, and he's calling his son, he's attached to his son, and thereby he became somewhat indirectly attached to the name Narayana, not to Narayana, Lord. See, note this, this is very, very important. He became attached to the name Narayana. So we have to become attached to the name, even if you are not attached to the person Narayana. This is the beauty of Krishna's name, because Krishna's name is non-different. But even without understanding it, if he simply somehow or other become attached to the name, that is perfection. This is called Agnata Sukruti. Although calling for his son, he was unknowingly chanting the name of Narayana. So Prabhupada is calling this Agnata Sukruti. Without knowing, he is getting Sukruti. This is called Bhakti Unmukhi Sukruti. And Sukruti actually means Punya only, but it is not the classical Punya which gives you Janma Ishwarya Sutashri, right? The Punya of this material world. That's why this is Bhakti Unmukhi Sukruti. And it is Agnata because they don't know, without knowing. Unknowingly, he is chanting the name of Lord Narayana. And the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is so transcendently powerful. Transcendently powerful. That is, chanting was being counted and recorded. So please note, from the time he named his son Narayana and started calling him Narayana, his chanting was being counted and recorded. And also please note one more important thing which we will discuss later, is that he was chanting offenselessly. He was not chanting offensively. He was not doing aparadha. This is very important to note. Yeah, but Prabhupada is saying it's so transcendently powerful that his chanting was being counted and recorded. Okay. When the time of death arrived for the foolish Ajamila, he began thinking exclusively of his son Narayana. So when death arrived, he began thinking exclusively of his son Narayana. Yeah, Vinod Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Uh, so my question is, Prabhu, I mean, we made a statement that he's chanting offenselessly, right? But I mean, he is calling his son out of attachment for him, right?
Yeah,
And then he doesn't even realize that he's calling the names of the Supreme
yeah, but
Personality
it's
of
not
Godhead.
offensive. It's not offensive to the Supreme Lord.
Okay.
We'll discuss this later.
Okay.
Note this because this is going to come up. This is the key
Hmm.
actually. This is the key for this whole episode. So we'll discuss that. In the second canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukadeva Goswami says, Yethavan Sankhya Yogabhyam Swadharma Parinishtaya Janmalabha Parapumsam Ante Narayana Smritihi. The highest perfection of human life achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by acquirement of mystic powers, or by perfect discharge of one's occupation. Whatever you do doesn't matter. The highest perfection is to remember Krishna at time. Somehow or other, Prabhupada uses this word, somehow or other. Don't tell what it is, somehow or other. Ajamila consciously or unconsciously chanted the name of Narayan. So this unconscious chanting also is quoted in Bhagavatam. आपन्न संस्कृतिं घोरां यन्नामो विवशो गृणन् ततः सद्यो विमुच्येत यद्बिभेति स्वयं भयम् आपन्न संस्कृतिं घोरां यन्नामो विवशो गृह्णन् विवशो actually translation is unconsciously chanting ततः सद्यो विमुच्येत sadya means immediately vimuchyeta it will free you yad bhiveti swayam bhayam the name is it gives makes even the death or fear personified afraid. The name of the Lord makes fear personified afraid. Meaning the name can actually, even if taken unconsciously, it can actually help us from the greatest danger. It doesn't matter if we chant it with feeling or without feeling. With feeling will give a different result. But even without feeling, but without offense. So Ante Narayana Smriti. So you can call Narayana at the time of death or Krishna helplessly because you're in pain, you're struggling. You can call Krishna. That is good enough. Right? And therefore he became all perfect simply by concentrating his mind on the name of Narayana. So it is not Narayana. Please note, there is no consciousness here. It is just unconsciously, but attached to the name. Attached to the name. So when Srila Prabhupada went to the West and he started this, chanting, like and Sankirtan and all that, people got attached to the name. They didn't know who is this Krishna. They didn't know what is this Hare. They didn't know what is this Rama. They didn't know anything. They just got attached to that chanting process, just the name. And of course, the music associated, everything, right? Whatever it was. But they just loved chanting. It may also be concluded that Ajamila, who was the son of a Brahmana, was accustomed to worshipping Narayana in his youth. So Prabhupada is now giving some example. History in the background. Because in every Brahmana's house, there is worship of Narayana Shila. This system is still present in India. In a rigid Brahmana's house, there is Narayana Seva, worship of Narayana. Therefore, although the contaminated Ajamila was calling for his son, by concentrating his mind on the holy name of Narayana, he remembered the Narayana he had very faithfully worshipped. This is what happened to him at the time of death. Now, till then, he has been taking the name of Narayana. From the time he named his 10th son Narayana, he's been taking the name Narayana, but without any attachment, without even remembering the Lord. But he became attached to the name. And because he became attached to the name and also attached to his son, both, so he simply exclusively starts thinking about his son and calls his name. But because he had done some seva and now he was in great distress because he was seeing these Yamadutas and they were scary, and so he remembered Narayana. Till now he had not remembered Narayana. He was simply calling the name Narayana, son. He was referring to his son. He didn't remember the Lord Narayana. But because he had very faithfully worshipped in his youth Narayana, but he had forgotten Svalpamapyasya Dharmasya. He had done little service when he was small. But he then suddenly remembered that Narayana. In this regard, Srila Sridhar Swami expressed his verdict as follows. According to Bhakti Siddhanta, it is to be analyzed that because Ajamila constantly chanted his son's name, Narayana, he was elevated to the platform of Bhakti, although he did not know it. So he did not know it, but he was simply because he was chanting Narayana, 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 he was elevated to the platform of Bhakti. Similarly, Srila Veera Raghava Acharya gives this opinion. Although at the time of death he was chanting the name of his son, he nevertheless concentrated his mind upon the holy name of Narayana. Srila Vijayadhwaja Tirtha gives a similar opinion. Directly or indirectly, Ajamila factually remembered Narayana at the time of death. So, yeah, different acharyas are saying different things. So, but the common thing is, at the time of death, when he called the name Narayana, he remembered Narayana. Smriti happened. Narayana Smriti happened. He remembered Narayana. But till then, he was only remembering the name. He was only attached to taking that name, though he was actually attached to his child. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, is he saying anything yet? Not yet. He gives all his commentaries in the next, and the beginning of next chapter is when he gives a long commentary. Yeah, Vedas Swami is saying that he developed bhakti. Okay. Okay. Ajamila then saw three awkward persons with deformed bodily features, ears, twisted faces, and hair standing erect on their bodies. With ropes in their hands, they had come to take him away to the abode of Yamaraj. Deformed bodily features, ears, twisted faces, hair standing erect on their bodies, ropes in their hands, they had come to take him away to the abode of Yamaraj. When he saw them, he was extremely bewildered, and because of attachment to his child, who was playing a short distance away, who didn't know what was going on, he was just playing. Ajamila began to call him loudly by his name because he became afraid. He became afraid. Thus, with tears in his eyes, he somehow or other chanted the holy name of Narayana. Person who performs sinful activities performs them with his body, mind, and word. Therefore, three Yamadutas came. Why three Yamadutas? Body, mind, and word. Fortunately, even though he was referring to his son, Ajamila chanted the four syllables of the Harinama Narayana. Four syllables are there in this name. Narayana. And therefore, four Vishnu Dutas arrived. Because Ajamila was extremely afraid of the ropes of Yamaraja, he chanted the Lord's name with tearful eyes, meaning some feeling, emotion came. Actually, however, he never meant to chant the holy name of Narayana. He meant to call his son. So he took the name in some fear. Some fear. My dear king, the order carriers of Vishnu, the Vishnu Dutas, immediately arrived when they heard the holy name of their master from the mouth of the dying Ajamila, who had certainly chanted without offense, because he had chanted in complete anxiety. So this is important. So he had chanted without offense because he had chanted in complete anxiety. Um, okay. Okay, let's see what Srila Prabhupada is saying. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks, the order carriers of Lord Vishnu came because Ajamila had chanted the holy name of Narayana. They did not consider why he was chanting. or they did not even consider whom he was referring to. They just heard the name Narayan. That's all. While chanting the name of Narayana, Ajamila was actually thinking of his son. But simply because they heard Ajamila chanting the whole Lord's name, the Vishnu Dutas immediately came for Ajamila's protection. Hari Kirtana is actually meant to glorify the holy name, form, pastimes, and qualities of the Lord. Ajamila, however, did not glorify the form, qualities, or paraphernalia of the Lord. He simply chanted the name. Nevertheless, the chanting was sufficient to cleanse him of all sinful activities. As soon as the Vishnu Dutas heard their master's name being chanted, they immediately came. In this regard, Srila Vijayadhvaja Tirtha remarks, Ajamila chanted the name of Narayana because of his excessive attachment to his son. Nevertheless, because of his past good fortune in having rendered devotional service to Narayana, he apparently chanted the holy name for devotional service and without offense. He apparently chanted the holy name. More importantly, without offenses. So here the key is that he did not commit any offense. And this stage of chanting is called Nama Abhasa. So there are 3 stages in the chanting of the holy name: Nama Aparadha, Nama Abhasa, Suddha Nama. Yeah, so Nama Aparadha is also a stage of Nama Bhasa where there are no offenses. So it's like Nama Bhasa only has one stage, which is Nama Aparadha, next stage is without Nama Aparadha. Or simply to understand, we can think of the first stage as Nama Aparadha, second stage as Nama Bhasa, third stage as Shuddha. So in this stage where there are no offenses, the holy name can liberate the jiva. And here one hint is coming for us. So this chanting without offense happens when we have some emotion attached, not to the name, just to ourself. I mean, like stage of, for example, we are anxious about something, and in that anxiety about it could be anxiousness of anxiety about our material life, doesn't matter. And in that anxiety, if we call out the name of Lord, we will not do any offense. So either it should be in anxiety or in fear, or yeah, it could be any of the of negative emotions that we have, because of which we are calling out the name. Then we'll call out the name without offense. Or on the other side, positive side, is where you have attachment to the name, attachment to Krishna, love for Krishna. Then also it will go beyond this Nama Bhasa, right? But of course, it will not be without offense. But even in this Nama Bhasa stage, wherein devotee has not developed any love for the Lord or affection for the Lord, but just because he is in some kind of anxiety, some kind of need, some kind of fear, something, some emotion associated, and he's calling out helplessly. He's calling out helplessly. He helplessly called out the name. And the process is that he helplessly called out the name, and name itself is Chaitanya, meaning name is life. Name has life. Name has consciousness. Name has existence. So name reacted. The holy name reacted. In the row, name is being called. I'm being called. That is why we have to understand that name is actually independently has an existence, right? Like Nama Chintamani, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukta, Abhinatvam Nama Chintamani. Chaitanya Rasa, it is Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. It is a form of Chaitanya, life. So it is not, and it is not different from the Lord. So simply just, that is why Prabhupada repeatedly said, saying that get, just become habituated to just chanting the name of the Lord all the time, and chant it offenselessly, meaning not with our mind going here and there and all that. That is of no use. This offenselessly, meaning fully, like I said, the word is helpless. Helplessly call out Krishna's name. Then the name will do its magic. Is that okay? So I'll stop here for today. If there are any questions, I know there'll be lots of questions. You can ask up to whatever we've discussed now. Of course, there'll be a lot more explanation. There'll be a commentary. We'll read detailed commentary in the next chapter, beginning of next chapter. But yeah, so far, if there is anything small, I can address. Full understanding of how this worked, why this worked, all that we will discuss in the next chapter. Anything? Anybody?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabha, Prabhu, Vinod, Prabhu, you can. Yeah, Prabha, Prabhu.
Hi, Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, that name when it is taken in anxiety, that is in Nama Bhasa stage, right? Because still it is not Shuddhanam.
It's not Shuddhanam.
Yeah.
It can be Shuddhanam also. It depends on who is taking the name. For example, the devotees in Vrindavan, and there is any trouble, they call out Krishna's name, but that is in pure love.
Hmm.
The situation can be anything, doesn't matter. But yeah, for us, conditioned state, sadhakas, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, but one realization, Prabhu, that during anxiety, the quality of name and remembrance is much more higher.
Yeah.
That is the experience in my life. Yeah.
Yes. So we can all pray like Kunti Maharani did, saying that keep,
Yeah.
let my life be full of anxieties,
Yeah.
troubles. So then we will take the name. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Vinod Prabhu.
So Prabhu, my question is, I mean, yeah, so in this case, Ajamila is calling the name out of anxiety. And I mean, how do we, I'm just trying to relate it to myself in the sense like, yeah, so yeah, you don't have anxiety. Let's say you're chanting out of duty, right? And you're trying to hear, but you're not completely attached to the holy name and you don't have those, that love and all, but we're still somewhat attached, right? I mean, so how do you, what is that stage, Prabhu? What do you call that stage? Is
Yeah,
it
normally then in that stage, then mind will be going here and there. Mind is attached to material things. That is all nama prad.
Namaprad? Okay, I mean, yeah, but it's a kind of, it's not completely 100%, right? So you keep pulling back the mind. I mean, you still try
It's
to
okay.
hear.
But
Yeah.
it's okay. See,
So
there are two parts here, right? One is there are the 10 offenses, then there is inattentive chanting, right? The 10 offenses have to be avoided absolutely, right? And
mm,
in the 10
yeah,
offenses, the one thing which actually is causing all this problem is aham and mama, right? Our material
mm,
attachment is is there, and that material attachment is the 10th offense, and that material attachment is resulting in inattention.
correct.
So which means that the more than the inattention, it's the problem is this aham and mama. So till we are in this aham and mama stage, we are in namaprad. Then we might come out of aham and mama, but there will be traces wherein we are not actively running behind aham and mama, but because of our past conditioning, still when we are chanting, our mind might go towards something as a matter of habit.
Correct, correct.
That has to be, then effort has to be put by the devotee to stop that. Because now the devotee is not necessarily so attached to that topic that is coming up, right? But just out of habit, his or her mind is going towards that topic, then the devotee should pull back and say, this is nonsense, this is useless. I am not anyway, I'm not so concerned about this. I'm not so attached to this. Why is it coming up during my chanting? Okay, let me put some more effort to not pay attention to these thoughts. Thoughts will come. It's not like the thoughts will stop immediately. Thoughts will come, but we should not give it attention. We should not give it importance.
Right, right. I mean, we just keep ignoring, and then keep on chanting. But so I'm just seeing what is the hope of getting to the next stage. I
Oh,
mean,
absolutely.
definitely in terms of quality, I see that it's improving, right, on a day-to-day basis. But So
Yeah.
how do you
The answer,
when we're gonna get the next stage is
yeah. So the answer is that you have the answer is simply as we continue to chant with faith and absolutely make efforts to also reduce our material attachment, we will move to the next stage. We won't immediately
Oh.
move to the next stage. We'll move to an intermediate stage wherein thoughts are coming, but they're not directly. They are. There is still inattention, but that inattention is not going. The attention is not going towards material things. It's going towards spiritual things. But still, there is inattention. We're not focused on the nama. That way, there will be some one intermediate stage, and then we will come to a stage where, of course, that stage of completely without with full attention actually will only happen when we develop that love. But I think these stages are not so distinguishable, separable, right? But important thing is the offenses have to stop. That's the important part. After that, just faith in the name and then some taste in the name, all that will happen. Then we will make progress. Anyway, so to keep it simple, implementable, is Aham and Mama has to stop. That's our focus right now, right? And when we are chanting, we have to very helplessly. Again, I'm using the word helplessly because, like you said, our situation seems hopeless, right? What is the hope for us to move to the next stage? Is this helplessly calling out for Krishna's help? Krishna, I'm badly stuck in this Namaprada stage. I want to be able to hear your name attentively. I don't want to be distracted. So please give me mercy. That is a helpless mood in which we have chant. And of course, if some of us have any other anarthas actively, big anarthas, then that should also make us helplessly call out Krishna's name, saying that please help me out of this. I'm stuck badly here. And it is the desire of the jiva. For example, if we want, saying that okay, no, I'm stuck with this Am and Mama, but I want to come out of it, then helplessly call out the name. Helplessly take the name. Then the name will do magic. Is that okay?
Yes, true.
Which is why if which is I keep saying, right? So when will the stage of helplessness come? When will we feel helpless? Yeah, Vamshi.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
You want to answer my question?
Prabhu, since we're talking about chanting, I had one question. So sometimes,
No,
with
I
respect
asked a
to
question.
chanting, right? So,
Prabhu, are you able to hear me?
Prabhu, am I audible? Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, yes, both
Am I
are
audible?
audible.
Both are audible, but Vamshi Prabhu is not able to hear me. Vamshi Prabhu, are you able to hear me?
Yes, yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Okay. I asked a question. I will come to your question later. I asked a question saying that when do we, what will create that anxiety for us? What will create anxiety in your own life? What can create that anxiety so that you can call out to Krishna's name helpless? Yeah, Prabhu.
Yeah, when we lose all our hope on our endeavors and we are completely dependent on Lord.
Okay, good. Okay, yeah.
When we take up things beyond our comfort zone, Prabhu, where again there is support required.
Okay, yeah, Shashank.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. When we suffered a lot, when the suffering is increased to an intense where we cannot find a path.
Yeah. Okay. So any of these could be, right? Could be somebody is in financial distress. But in all these difficult situations, we should not ask for relief from that material situation. That's the key. The key is not to pray to get relief. The key is to pray helplessly, take Krishna's name, and not ask for material outcome. Just helplessly saying, Krishna, I'm helpless. I don't know. It's up to you. This should be our approach. It's up to you. I'm leaving it to you. I'm not asking for a solution. Whatever you want, you do. Right? But I have nobody else but you now. We should reach that stage somehow. Otherwise, okay, it's fine. We don't have to go through that difficulty. If you just simply hear and say, okay, I'm going to give up all this Am and Mama, this is all nonsense. It's anyway not going to help me. I'm going to become bound. Okay, let me hear more about Krishna. Let me read more Bhagavatam. Let me somehow become, get rid of all my anarthas. And let me become attached to Krishna. Sounds like a fairy tale. At least for me, it seems like a fairy tale, because that's not going to happen. Not easy. Right. So the best part is to go through some little difficulty and call out Krishna's name with anxiety, and then we will not forget that. That's the beauty of that is Krishna's mercy, that he will not make us forget, or even if he forget, he will make us remember. He will remind us how we helplessly called out for him, called out to him when we were in trouble. He will remind us, even subsequently when things become okay. Krishna mercifully takes away all, creates a more conducive environment for us to bhakti without any difficulties in life, etc. Then we will be anxious, we'll be worried, saying that okay, now everything is going okay, then will I just forget? Like Rama, I was worried, saying that Krishna, you've given me all this wealth, now I should not become puffed up, I should not become lost in this wealth. So please give me that mercy. And Krishna gave him mercy. He never forgot Krishna in spite of his wealth. So like that, we should pray, saying that okay, the difficulty, it doesn't matter. Let me, please, Krishna, give me the mercy that I can remember you like this for the rest of my life. Irrespective of whether you fix the situation, don't fix the situation. I want to be attached to calling out your name helplessly like this. That is faith. That is desire to achieve Krishna. Is that okay? Does it scare you? Does it worry anybody? Scare anybody? This thought of when there is difficulty, I will call out for Krishna's name helplessly, but I'll not ask him for a solution. I will not ask him to solve my problem. I will simply call out to him saying that Krishna, you know best. I'm just depending on you. I don't have anybody else in this world. And I see generally people, when Krishna is actually mercifully putting them into the situation of helplessness, they are trying to solve their problem. So, for example, my family is not very doesn't care for me much, and this is mercy of Krishna, that he wants you to depend on him. No, but we are not looking at it that way. We are looking at it saying that, oh, no, my husband is like this, my wife is like this, my children are like this, and how much ever I say, they don't listen. Why you want to tell? Okay, you can tell because it might be your duty to tell. You can tell, but if it's not getting solved, be happy by seeing that it is Krishna's mercy, that he wants you to now become only dependent on him. But we don't see Krishna's mercy in our life. We see this as, oh, what is this? Krishna created some difficulty in my life. I see other devotees, their, families, they're also nice and with each other, etc. Why my family is like? Because Krishna wants you to he's giving you special mercy so that you can depend only on him. Is that okay? Anything else, anybody? Speechless. Is it? Okay. We'll stop. Yeah. Tantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhishta Kripa Sindhurta Paridanam Bhakti Vaishnava Jai, Samaveta Gaura Bhakta ki jai, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.